Hey everyone, my name is Ryan Hicks and I'm in our EC&I class, and for my blog this week I thought I would include some video to go with it, as I really felt it better express what I was trying to get across in what I was going to write. I really enjoyed Sylvia's talk and all things about 3D printers and the makey movement that other people have posted. It's really cool to see all the fun things that people have done this week, and what's really cool is it almost seems like this has been our week of play. Like everyone has gone out there and kind of discovered things that kind of work for them, work for their grade level, work for their students. And what works really well for me is something that probably many of you know about or might even have but have never used it, and that is the Garageband app in iPhone and iPad. Now, I'm using this not to sell Apple product, but I really don't know anything else out there that's as interactive and all powerful as you get for this one $5 app. So I'll just kind of take you through a few things that you can do within the things that I've been doing with my students. So the very first thing we can do is we can go through into Garageband and we can open up and pick what instrument or whatever we want to do. And just to make things super simple, we're going to just select the audio recorder, and this is just like a simple recorder, like a tape machine. So you can see as I'm talking in the VU meter, it's picking up my voice, so it says. And very simply, like an old tape recorder, I just hit record, and it's going to give me metronome count in for that. And then you'll hear the sound of me. That's me. And then you'll hear the sound of me. That's me. So that's the simplest one. That's a very simple thing to do. In my music class last week, I had a challenge with the students that on Tuesday we talked about using smartphones and devices to actually perform music. And on that Tuesday, none of my students have done any recording or really used their smartphones for making music. So I put a challenge to the class. Tomorrow, which would have been Wednesday, we're going to have a concert just using your smartphones. And the students at first were very scared. What are we going to do? How are we going to do that? And I was scared, knowing full well that not every student has a smartphone or not every student has access to the device. But rather than saying, okay, I'm not going to do this, I thought, well, let's just see what they come up with. And I was shocked with what they came up with. Some students use Garageband, and other students use different programs, but probably the one that worked best for all of us was Garageband. I also started a music blog this week for my classroom, and I've shared some of the stories and some of the pictures on that, so you can check out that. I'll have the link as well. Anyways, let's go back into Garageband. So at our simplest, we have the recorder, but there's so many more things that we have on there. So I can go back to the instruments, and I'm going to go to let's say the keyboard. So this is a very simple one. It sets it up like a normal piano on the iPad, so I can play it like I normally would. And it's an interactive surface. And the cool thing about this is you don't require additional hardware. Everything that you need is either on your phone or on a tablet. I like it on a tablet because it's a little bigger and easier for you to use. So I can play something like this. And then you'll hear the sound of me. That's me. I'm still on there, I guess. Too bad. So when I record that, that's taken for granted that I have some keyboard skills. But let's say I didn't have any keyboard skills. What I could do is I could now go into, so here's my view. You can see what I just recorded. You can see there's my voice, the one saying that's me. And you can see what I just recorded on the piano. That's what we call MIDI data. So you see that MIDI stuff is there. Let's say I didn't know how to play, or I had a student with special needs, or anyone really that didn't have any skills on a specific instrument. So I can add a new instrument, and I can do any of the smart drums, smart guitar, smart things, whatever. So I'm going to start with the smart guitar. So we go down to smart guitar, so you can see what that says, and you'll see the difference with this. So if I was playing a regular guitar, I'd need to know where to put my fingers. On the smart guitar, all I need to know is kind of what chords I'm playing, and then I can just strum along and it'll sound good because every note that they have on the strings here works in the chord. So let me demonstrate. Now, taking that, I can go back to my instruments and let's say go back to my song. So you can see now I have three things recorded. I have my voice, which was doing that thing. I had the piano part that I was playing on the iPad, and I had the smart guitar part that's now as MIDI data as well. So let's say now I want to do something else. I could, let's say I have this idea that I think would sound really good with the string section, but I don't have a bunch of strings, but I do have smart strings. And it works the same way as the smart guitar. So, put it all together, and then you'll hear the sound of me. That's me. The cool thing about this is those sounds actually sound pretty good and pretty realistic. If we want to do one more thing, I could, go in here and guess what they have? They have drums, and you play drums on here like you normally would. Or we could go to something like the smart drums. And the cool thing about the smart drums, which is great for, little kids, bigger kids, is basically it works with your ideas and it kind of will play it for you. So on this square here, I have loud or quiet. So if I want it louder, I put it up here. If I want quieter, I put it over here. Simple, complex. If I want more of a simple part, I put it over here. If I want more complex, I put it over there. So let's say I want a hip-hop drum machine, so electronic sort of sound on this. I could do that, so I select that, and then of course I could pick different kits from there too, but I want that hip-hop kit. So first let's start with my kick drum, which is like the boom, low sound. So got that. Let's put a snare in there, kind of a simple snare. Let's put a hi-hat, kind of a complex hi-hat. And what's music without hand claps? And when we put it all together, and then you'll hear the sound of me. That's me. So this drum is playing, and it's in real time. So if I want to add something, it adds to it. Take it away. So, in a very short period of time, I can do some pretty cool things, some very musical things. The thing that I really like about the Garageband app is it sounds good. Like, we're not talking about the old Nintendo when they were doing Super Mario Brothers and bloop, bloop, bloop. Like, these sound like real drums, sound like real guitars, real keyboards, and some very cool things that you can do with just even their phone. The version for iPhone works exactly the same way. It's just smaller. And when my kids were around playing with it, it was unbelievable because everyone had smiles on their faces. They're creating some really good things. But the thing to keep in mind is this is just a tool. It does not write the song for you. You still have to have the idea of what you want to do, but it allows you to very quickly take your ideas and make them into reality. And I think that's what Makey is all about, and what 3D printers are all about, and what the whole movement of this tactile learning. So there you go, GarageBand. I'd be happy to give you some more tips if you like that, but hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day.